how this turns out. Pretty much every time in the past, I started doing this, what, 8, 9 days ago, and I've done it ad hoc, pretty much just, feeling like starting something and then just doing it unannounced. But today, for the first time, I kind of scheduled this and let people know. I don't know if you saw my community post. There was a picture even and some text regarding that upcoming live. So I wanted to just basically try this out and see if there's what kind of a turnout we have. It's Sunday evening here where I'm at, which is in Finland, Northern Europe, Scandinavia, because I like the summers and because my kids are here. So 6 p.m. I had a pretty busy weekend, pretty good productive weekend, and just wanted to schedule one for the end of the week before everybody resets their times and clocks and minds for the upcoming week, so to say. And I wanted to maybe recap this week and set the tone for tomorrow, which is Monday, and then see where I'm at with my channel. Maybe spend a few minutes here today, depending on, of course, if there's people who want to talk about other topics. But I was thinking of maybe talking to myself or talking to somebody, if there's anybody online today interested in hearing what I have to say. So maybe talk about how or what I've been doing over the last couple of weeks and what my feelings are and what the results are so far. So I'm here in my office, so it was online, so we'll see what the turnout's going to be today. So like I said, this is the first live I scheduled actually, roughly 5 hours ago. I just wanted to try something else. Every other one I've done in the past has been unannounced. And let's see how this shapes up. There's going to be one long YouTube video released today later as well about 7 key lessons that I've been able to collect over the last 20 plus years doing real estate and running different businesses in different countries. So if you're interested in that, go and take a look at my channel. It's going to be published, I'm guessing, in the next couple of hours. And then that's going to be, hopefully, something that adds value to your life. I recorded that actually outdoors. It was funny. I have this property, a waterfront property that I'm trying to flip. And I had some nice ideas as far as how to do the recording and how to make it happen. But it was so freaking windy yesterday, and the kind of location where I went to put the camera, the lighting didn't work out. So I had to actually reposition it. But I think it turned out pretty good. So if you have a chance, so take a look at it. Let me see if it's actually being uploaded as we speak. Let me see here what's going on. Video details. Other than that, what I've been doing today. So what was today's signal and the rest obviously is noise. So today's signal was to go and train and then get ready for this live, and then also take care of that waterfront property that I was talking about. I was not able to get anybody to go on cut the grass for me, so I had to do it myself. I don't usually do stuff like that, like maintenance work. I delegate it, I outsource it always, because that's not what I want to do. That's not what I'm good at. So I just want to focus on the things that add value in my life. So but unfortunately this time I had to do it. I hold my lawnmower there, the trunk of my car, and just like did it over the course of a couple of days. So it's a big ass yard, so it took me a while. But like I said, today I wanted to see if people show up and are interested in having a chat regarding business or maybe something else like we've had in the past. And in the meantime, while waiting for people, I'm gonna start preparing for my next video, which is gonna be recorded on Wednesday. It's gonna come out on Thursday. I'm sorry. I have the schedule here on my calendar. Let me look at it. A 30-day content plan. Long form, today's the 3rd. It's going to be published together with one short. Tomorrow is another short. Then Tuesday, LinkedIn post, Instagram carousel, and another short. And then custom short on Wednesday, another long form on Thursday. Yes, so I need to start working on the script and make sure that I record latest Wednesday morning. So that's kind of like the plan. I mean, sounds very trivial, but if it's not documented, if it's nowhere, it's not a priority. It won't get done. Meaning, put the stuff that you want to get done on your calendar. Ask yourself every morning, what's today's signal, what's relevant, what's not, and then document that. Make sure that it's on your calendar, because otherwise it doesn't get done. I consider myself a pretty disciplined person, to be perfectly honest. I have proof, but it doesn't matter. I don't need to argue with anybody or justify it more than that. But I know I'm pretty disciplined. But even for me, sometimes if I don't have it on my calendar, if I don't have that stuff anywhere documented, it's super hard to visualize it, because I'm a big picture guy. I need to see something, meaning my weekly plan or my monthly plan in front of me. And I think that's one of the added benefits of having something on your calendar, because it's not just there in writing, but it's actually somewhere where you can see it all the time. And if it's concrete, if it's, like I said, in front of you, visual, it gets done. Otherwise, it's nowhere to be found. It's not a priority. So just the way it works, it seems. And most of my clients, when I start working with them, it's funny. Before I repositioned my channel towards real estate only, I actually have a mix of clients. I mean, some are from real estate background or with real estate background, or are directly, indirectly involved in that. But it's funny, with most of them actually, we start with the basics. It's like, okay, how can I document the stuff that I need to do? How can I make sure that they are always on my calendar? How can I make sure that it gets done? Because it's just simple things. People forget that simple is beautiful and effective. It's just the simple stuff that makes the biggest difference in the world. If we try to turn everything into complex, complicated, like the quote unquote value adding thing that we think is the case, it's never gonna work. It's not. Simple is the way to go. Trust me. All great business ideas are simple. There's no way around it. That's the way it works. In the past, I've been going through my notes to myself as well, my kind of diary. I've been going day by day here. So I'm on, hold on, let me see, June 15, 2024. Are you willing to go to zero? In practice, are you willing to not make any money for 5 years? Not put myself out of business, but fuck myself up for a good 5 years. This is a journal entry I wrote to myself over a year ago when I just started my new business, this coaching thing, education business and content game. And I knew it was gonna probably take me 5 years of really hard grind, because the market that I entered was very, very competitive. If you think about the content creators or business coaches, whether they're in real estate or just business overall, I mean, there's just plenty of us. How do I make sure that I make name for myself when nobody knows I exist? So I had this idea that it's gonna take me 5 years to get anything done. And now I'm a year and 4 months in, almost a year and 5 months in. And it's as hard, if not harder, if not even harder than what I thought in the beginning, which is fine. That's what I wanted. I wanted to test my capabilities, but it's just fucking hard. I'm not surprised, because this is my third business that I start from scratch, but this is by far the hardest. No other company in the past or idea project has come even close to this. But anyhow, it's all good. At least I get to see what I'm capable of putting together, or if I can pull it off. Then another entry from the same day. Working a lot is only cool if you fucking love it. Otherwise, you will burn yourself out, period. Lesson of the story. Find something you really love and decide how many hours you want to dedicate to it every day. Decision becomes very easy. So, getting there requires an unreal amount of self-awareness. I think this is something that is not talked about enough overall. being self-aware and understanding what it takes to really get stuff done. Because I think I've mentioned this many times in these lives and on my channel, but being smart in life, I think, boils down to two things ultimately: knowing what to want and knowing how to get it. And if you're not self-aware, to my previous point, if you're not self-aware, if you don't know yourself, if you can't trust your inner gut, or your intuition is not there, you can't connect with your intuition, so to say. It's not possible to know what to want, because otherwise you're just like everybody else who just wants everything and ends up getting nothing. So maybe this is mostly to my own kids. I know they are not online because there's nobody online right now. I mean, there are two people, I'm sorry. But if the two people online right now were my own kids, what would I tell them today? I would tell them two things. I would tell them to ignore 90% of what people tell them, literally, school, society, parents, friends, everything. Block 90% and apply that 10% that applies to you. And that's hard. That's the same as knowing what to want. And once you're super clear on what applies to you, and when you're 19 or you're 25 or even freaking 35, it's hard. To many people, it's hard when they are 55. But somehow I think we need to, and how is this related to being self-aware? I think you don't have a chance of knowing what to want unless you're self-aware. And that's just such an underrated skill overall in life, to be able to know what to want, so to be self-aware. And I practice this all the time. And the way I do it is that I talk to my older version of myself, meaning, okay, what is it that I need to do now so that I have no regrets when I'm 90? That's the question I ask all the time. Okay, so let's say I wake up in the morning. Okay, today I went to the gym. I had a lower body workout. I felt good. It doesn't really matter how I feel. I just go to the gym anyhow if I have a workout day. But so I have those days when I don't feel like doing anything. Of course, I'm a human too. But then I ask myself, okay, what are my priorities in life? I want to live forever. I want to see my kids grow. I want to test and see how good I truly am. And I want to make sure that I have no regrets at the end of the day when I'm out of time. So if that's true, then there's no way I can skip today's workout. I just have to go, because then I would regret it at the end of the day. I have not done everything in my power to empty my tank and maximize my longevity and health and whatever I want to do. So I think that's where self-awareness comes into play, where when you can have that conversation with your inner energy, with your gut, so to say, then you have a really chance to know what to want. Many people focus on just getting a lot of stuff because their neighbor has a new Mercedes, or they had a conversation with their friends and they kind of felt jealous after the conversation about how these guys were able to make so much money. And it's like, okay, well, I want to make money too, or I want that new watch or new purse, or I want a vacation home, or I want to get happier, or I want to have this or that. But that's influenced heavily by what these other people do. I think it's really, really hard. It's one of the hardest things in life to do well, which is to be so self-aware and be so confident, be able to and be willing to walk down your own path and ignore everybody else's opinion and say that, okay, well, this is what applies to me, so therefore I know what to want, and I don't have to worry about how these other people are trying to convince me to live life their way. That's how I look at it. So if I had a chance to tell something to my own kids, really making sure that their brain cells are open or receptive to new information, I would want to make sure that they listened when I told them to be self-aware and learn how to talk to themselves, understand what applies to them, and make sure that they block 90% of what everybody tells them, including school and society. That's how I look at it. Now, some people online, so any questions for me today? Did you see my community post, or did you just stumbled on this this random live. How did you find this? Was it being presented to you? Because I scheduled, this is the first one I really scheduled. I announced that, 5 hours before this. So I don't know if anybody saw it, but I wanted to try it. Usually I just do it unannounced. I just hop on a call and just see if there's anybody who wants to talk. Do you have a plan for your day? Yeah, so a good question. So first, before I answer that, I'm going to say that I used to be I used to be very much a person who had a long-term view all the time. Now I just like have that question in my mind about what is it that I need to do so that I don't regret anything at 90. Okay, that's my long-term plan. But my daily plan, I put together my daily plan either the day before, the night before, or the morning off. And I ask myself, what's today's signal? Meaning, what's that one thing or those two things that I need to do today that move the ball forward the most in giant leaps? And then I just do that. And that's hard. It's really hard. So yes, I do have a plan for every day, and this is how I do it. So I ask myself every morning, regardless of my feelings, what needs to be done? Okay, so do I need to record a YouTube video? And then I do it. Is that on today's agenda, meaning really the most relevant topic? And then I just basically fully expect that I do everything in my power today to empty my tank. And if I feel exhausted at the end of the day, regardless of the results, because I understand that short-term results vary. I don't necessarily always get what I want, but in a long enough time horizon, if I zoom out, I always get what I deserve. See? So there is no luck. There could be luck if you look at your week or month or maybe potentially even 1 year, but if you zoom out and you take a long enough time horizon, luck does not play a role anymore. But yes, I used to have like a very long-term plans and long-term goals, but now it's like the only goals I have are related to what is it that I need to do now so that I don't have any regrets at 90, and then I just break it down into daily actions. Does that make sense? That's how I do it. And it's been really helpful for me to disconnect myself from those weekly results or monthly results. It gave me so much comfort and inner peace. Believe me when I say this, when I actually was able to finally realize that actually I don't have to worry about what happens today or tomorrow, because in the long enough time horizon, I always get what I deserve if I'm good enough. Same thing with this new business. I'm like, okay, it might take me 5 years, but then eventually I'll know if I'm good enough. Maybe I'm not, maybe I am, I don't know. But I do know that I'm going to do everything in my power to get better. That's how I look at it. Pre-scheduling is great. That's how I got the notification for this live. Okay, good. Good to know. Yeah, I probably do it more in the future because, well, yeah, I mean, this is so typical of me. Let me see the other comments. Yeah, it's so helpful. Thanks a lot. Okay, you're welcome. Happy Sunday, everyone. Yeah, happy Sunday. So it's so typical of me. So I don't do anything until I start doing it in high volume. So like my content game, those people who know me know that I probably had a Facebook account between 09 and 24, and that's it. And I posted maybe 3 times over the course of 15 years. And then when I decided to do it, I go from 0 to 100 like overnight. The reason why I do a lot of volume is that I know some of that is probably just silly stuff, and maybe some would call it stupid mistakes or whatever, unnecessary volume. But I look at it this way. I'm in the process of collecting data. That's data acquisition, because I don't know what works and what does and what doesn't. So I'm like, okay, I need to floor it. I need to really make sure that I ramp up my volume, put in the reps so that I get better. And at the same time, I'm trying to acquire as much data as possible as far as what is the people like, what works, what doesn't work, and so forth. And then once I've been able to collect the data, then I can fine tune it and see, okay, now I'm going to start working a little smarter. Because Many people tell you, I mean, this life advice that, hey, you don't have to work hard, you just need to work smart. But that's just complete bullshit. There is no way for you to skip the work hard part because you don't know what smart means unless you've done the hard work. Okay? So it's like if you start weightlifting or you start running, start playing tennis, you know, a professional tennis player could say that, hey, well, I mean, you need to work a little smarter, you know, practice smarter. But somebody who doesn't have the technique, doesn't have the footwork, doesn't have the, you know, hand-eye coordination and the eye for the ball, doesn't, I mean, there is no way you can work smart because you have to put in the reps. There's no way how you could skip that part. And ultimately, your competition will work hard and smart. So you have to get there anyhow. That's just how I look at it. But yeah, so I mean, how is this related to the live, you know, pre-announced or whatnot? So again, I just did a lot of lives, like twice a day, the first 5 to 6 days, 7 days. Now I was thinking that maybe I need to actually do 3 to 4, maybe 5 times a week and announce it beforehand, do a little bit better job marketing it, so to say, and put together this, you know, list and whatnot, you know, post it. Yeah, smart work is just an excuse, not doing the hard things. Yeah, you know, in a way, yeah. But I think ultimately you need to do both, like I said. So you need to work hard and smart. Because if you look at, if you want to compete as a business owner, I think you got to do both. The best, I mean, even if you don't want to be the top 1%, whatever your goal is, if you just want to make a living for yourself and grow your company, I think you need to be able to figure out both. And there's no way you can skip the work hard part because volume always is the first step so that you can kind of like, you can put in the reps and get better. So that's how it goes. So, but yeah, but how did we get here? We started talking about self-awareness and appreciate it. Thank you. Yeah, there's this sticker stuff going on, and I actually, when I got the invitation from YouTube, it's like the partner manager guy from the UK. There's this boot camp about these lives. That's what actually started. Well, somebody, the person who just donated, thank you, recommended back in the day that I start doing lives, and we go way back. So you know, I knew back in the day, maybe a year ago, that piece of advice was good and solid, and the right one, but the timing wasn't there. So I just had to get comfortable with the uncomfortable first when it comes to the long form and maybe some shorts, and then eventually graduate into this. And it's funny, I'm not comparing myself to anybody, quite the opposite actually. But I was watching this podcast, no, actually it was just a short clip, sorry, maybe on YouTube, where a very popular content creator was just saying that they had some sort of a football or soccer match, you know, as, you know, football in the UK, but something that would be called soccer in the US. But anyhow, a charity event in the UK. And this guy, he's a very famous YouTuber. But anyhow, so I think it was organized by him. So he was just saying that they invited a bunch of celebrities and, you know, YouTube creators and whatnot. And he was just using this really simple logic and way to determine which of these people were popular in the eyes of just all of those tens of thousands of people who came to the stadium. So first came the so-called old-fashioned A-list celebrities, and they got, like, let's say on a scale from 1 to 10, like, you know, 4 or 5, you know, as far as how loud the rounds of applause were. So then the next group were like the, you know, the long content YouTubers or long form YouTubers, so to say. And that went up a little bit, and then the short creators, and then the last group were the live guys. So it seems that he's like, oh my God, like everybody just blew up basically. Again, this has nothing to do with me. This has absolutely nothing to do with me. But what I'm saying is that it's interesting that according to many, the future of content creation is in these live broadcasts. That when you can take people behind the scenes and yeah, this is a boring office environment, but just like maybe show something about yourself that people haven't been able to see, and that way it's just like open the doors a little bit better, So it's just funny how it goes. Funny how it goes. I'm gonna turn the AC on here. It's so freaking hot here. I have this portable unit, so bear with me for a little bit. I don't know if you can hear this, but it's like, it's so loud. I hope it's not interfering with our nice live here. Anyhow, any other questions? Good ones so far. Yeah, nice and cool. These older buildings, there's just no AC. It's just like, your office is beautiful. I can show it to you. It's not actually, trust me, it's just a crappy office. But I have this, white couch here. This is big. That's my portable AC, and then it's like a file cabinet. Oh shoot! And then this is where I record most of my content. This is my so-called classroom setup. Actually, like I said in the beginning, most of you were not online, but I recorded my new long form video in a different environment, so it's going to come out today. So yeah, and then another whiteboard and my printer setup. So it's going to come out today, maybe in a few hours. I have this waterfront property, so for those of you who don't know what I do, so I'm a real estate investor and developer at the same time. But my larger projects are on hold because I launched this other business too. So I have some ad hoc projects, one fourplex that I'm rehabbing. So fourplex, one house with 4 units basically. So it's kind of like a townhouse, but not really. And then I have this waterfront property that I'm flipping. I had it rezoned with the city and trying to force the appreciation to go higher that way. So anyhow, I went there and I recorded the video outdoors, and I think it came out pretty good. It's not the ideal location because it was too dark the way I wanted to kind of like point the camera, but the AC is like background music. Yeah, that's good. People are used to background music as far as AC goes. I don't think it's too loud. And this microphone helps here, so hopefully at least. Okay, what else is going on? Let me see if no questions at this point. I'm just gonna go, and this is what I do, by the way, when I have 30 to 60 minutes to kill, so to say. I go and reread the notes that I wrote to myself back in the day. And the reason why I do that is that, and I also recommend it to many people, that when you can revisit the stuff that you have written to yourself, you always get different perspective. And there's just so many new things that can pop up, believe it or not. I mean, it might sound silly, but just try it. If you journal, if you don't, just start it. Would be it's probably one of the biggest or most important things you can do. Highest return on investment. What I do is that I have this WhatsApp chat with myself, where I sometimes post videos, pictures, and mostly text. So this is where I also put my business notes when I'm kind of studying and stuff. But it's just funny. I mean, I don't know how many times I've reread the notes that I wrote to myself from like 22 or 23, and it's funny. Every time I go there, it's like I get so much out of it, a new perspective when I pause and reflect on what happened. And there's a lot of turmoil in all of our lives, ups and downs and adversity. So if you can pause and you kind of look at the thing, and if nothing else, then at least it gives you, it puts things into different perspective as far as how small these so-called problems usually are. So do this. So if you journal, go back to your notes from 6 months ago. I don't know, if you write down the stuff that happens, the bad stuff or the challenges, so to say, and try to see how many of those things that were on your radar 6 months ago are still problems today. And I would argue that most of them have just disappeared completely. And if nothing else, that should tell you that, okay, well, whatever is the most burning item or topic today, maybe that's not such a big thing after all. You know what I mean? Because we just, we exaggerate the importance and the severity of the problems that we face today. That's how I look at it. If this feels like the biggest thing in the world, zoom out and ask yourself, do you think I'm going to worry about this when I'm 70 or 80 or 90, depending on how old you are? And if the honest answer is that probably not, then just ignore it. It's not relevant. Very few things actually end up on that list of being so important that you're going to remember them and they're going to impact your life in 10, 20, 30, or 40 years still. That's just the way it works. What do you do when you are so much boring and tired to do the most important things in your day, or even when you miss your daily schedule? Thanks a lot. Okay, so you're bored out of your mind or your feelings are fucked up, right? That's the question. One of my absolute favorite topics to talk about. So there's two things. There's actions and feelings. The mistake most of us make is that we listen to our feelings. And people are like, I don't really feel it. I don't really feel like going to the gym today, or I don't really feel like working today. And we let our feelings determine what actions we take. Okay, so this is fundamental. So the solution is that you don't listen to your feelings. You just identify in the morning or the day before that, okay, these are the things I need to do today. And then you just start doing them. And trust me, your feelings will follow. And I'll prove this to you. So basically, let's say physical activity or exercise is a perfect example for this. So let's say you hire a personal trainer and you're like, okay, I want to improve my cardiovascular conditioning. Your personal trainer says, okay, well, you're going to start running. You go for a run tomorrow morning. So from now on, every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday morning, since you have a busy schedule, you have kids, you have work, whatever, the only time slot you can put this run into is like between 5 and 5:30 in the morning. You're like, what? Yeah. And it's winter, it's cold, whatever. And what happens when you set the alarm for 4:45 a.m. and you're supposed to go for a run at 5? Your feelings tell you, no, don't go there, because you sense danger. It's warm, comfortable under the blanket or in your bed, and it's like you're supposed to go out there, and it's dark, it's cold, and it's like, oh my God. So your feelings tell you not to do it. But what happens if you go anyhow? You come back after 30 minutes. You feel like $1 million. This is the exact same thing with your work. So you just basically find a way how you just take action no matter what. And if the things you think are too big or overwhelming, I think then you just simplify and it just like start with the baby steps. With some of my clients, actually, believe it or not, and these are professionals. These are people who make money. They have their own companies, or they work for somebody else, but they are not like unemployed or like, it's quite the opposite. I don't even want to say it out loud, but they are good people. They're productive people. But sometimes we are just overwhelmed. Coming back to my original point about how 90% should be blocked. So it's like sometimes you start with the simple things and you just document that one thing that you need to do. Maybe it's just that physical activity that you do in the morning. And then when you start doing that consistently over the course of the next 2 or 3 weeks, you have this sense of accomplishment and you build confidence, because confidence comes from the past based on what you did. Then your feelings improve. And then you have proof of concept that, look, I was able to pull this off. Yeah, with this tiny little thing. And the other thing that helps usually is that you break it down. You just ask yourself, what's the tiniest step I can take? And what's the tiniest action I can take just to move the ball forward a little bit? And then you just start stacking those up. And then by taking action, you fix your feelings. And if that task, let's say you're supposed to write a 10-page essay today or whatever for school, as an example, you're like, okay, that feels overwhelming. Then maybe you forget that for a little bit and you just get out of bed and you make your bed and you make breakfast and you go for a 15-minute walk. You come back and all of a sudden you feel so much better because you took action, you did something, and you accomplished something, and then you're like, okay, I'm again one step closer to writing that 10-page essay. See what I mean? But the solution is just to take action. Find a way how you can do something, and you fix your feelings that way. But do not trust your feelings. Fuck your feelings. I mean, it sounds super simple and black or white, but that works for me. I think it's the only way. Hey, Maxler. I think this is like actions over feelings all day long. All day long. Find a way. Okay, good. Thank you. Appreciate it. If I can help, reach out. I mean, like I said in all my videos, I offer this free half an hour to 60-minute strategy sessions with everybody, anybody. It doesn't need to be real estate related or business related. If you feel like reaching out, do it. I'm not going to sell you anything. Honestly, just book a call, look at any of my videos, and there's that link, and you can schedule something, and we can walk through. I can walk through my ways of doing stuff with you. I'm not saying it's the best way, but it's like one of those use if useful things. It works for me because I only talk about the stuff that I've done that I found to be useful. And then it's up to you to see, okay, which one of how much of that info I filter and how much of that actually is directly applicable in my life. And I leave it up to you. But again, actions over feelings. And if that one thing that you identified in the morning feels overwhelming, break it down. If you're a marathon runner, one last point about this. If you're a marathon runner and you're out of gas at mile 5, what do? You don't start thinking about the finish line. You start thinking about how I can make it to the next corner. You know what I mean? The next 100 yards, that's all you do. You break it down into, you ask yourself, what's the tiniest, what's the smallest step I can take to get there? You know what I mean? And then you're just like, okay, I made it. Now to the next corner, the next 100 yards or 100 meters. And then again, maybe you just like, you overcome that hurdle, so to say, that mental thing, or that sometimes even physical, being tired physically is just something that you can just overcome if it's endurance sports, but you guys know better. But see what I mean? So that's like, don't look at that end goal, just break it down like the tiniest step and then do it. And then see what happens to your feelings. You will feel automatically better, guarantee. I'm passionate about this stuff, as you can tell. That's all I had, passion. Oh, I lost where was I? Yeah, it's basically, again, talking about self-awareness, like I'm going through my notes here to myself. There's some people online. Okay, so many of you, I mean, happiness is one of these, how should I say, topics that everybody wants to talk about. So this is interesting. Maybe some of you can connect with this. This is what I wrote to myself on June 16, 2024. Listen up. Life is one big story. We are all storytellers. Money can buy you happiness in 3 ways, according to studies. 1, we buy experiences. What is an experience? It always involves people and memories. Travel is a good example. Number 2, we buy time. We pay other people to do stuff we don't enjoy, and this time is then spent on number 1, meaning, creating those experiences. Or number 3, we can donate money to good causes. According to studies, money can buy you happiness in 3 ways. We buy experiences, meaning we travel, we go to a concert or whatever with our family members or loved ones. Number 2, we buy ourselves time. We have somebody else do stuff for us so that we can do number 1. And then number 3, we can donate it. It has nothing to do with how many houses you have, how many watches, or how many purses you have. It's not that much outcome driven. It's always typically related to people, places, experiences. So I think it's a good one to keep in mind. I don't know how you agree or how you see that personally, but this is one of the things that I find myself going back to quite often. Okay, so another one from the same day. It seems that I was busy on June 16. If you always play it safe, stay in the same city, travel to work using the same route, what experiences do you have at the end? You live a dull and boring life. At the end of the day, when you run out of time, do you think people have too many experiences to share? I guarantee you, if you go to a retirement home today and ask people, every single one of them wishes they had more epic stories to share. How many of us are going to say in the end that I'm glad I never got to test what I was truly capable of? I think you can motivate yourself endlessly by using this exact phrase. Go back and think about yourself in a retirement home, truly out of time, and asking, okay, are you going to say to your friends there that, yeah, I'm glad I never got to test how good I was, so I'm glad I never made any mistakes because I stayed in my comfort zone? No, it's the opposite. It's the epic stories that count. Do you think the type of food you eat plays a role in your motivation? That's a good question. That's a good question. Yes, definitely. I'm a I eat pretty clean. This is directly related to my training. I've been training for 32 years, and I've been watching what I eat at least for 32 years. I mean, I've been now eating the same breakfast for 6 years, literally every day, every single morning. When I have a chance to cook it, if I'm at a hotel, of course I don't. But yeah, and I believe it or not, I still look forward to it every morning. So I'm about routines and stuff and the reason why I do it is that number one, there's three reasons. Number one, longevity. If I eat healthy, it has a direct correlation with my longevity. Number two, it helps me with my physical activity. I feel stronger. I have a better chance of maybe, I don't know, what's the right word? You know, working on my body, like lift weights and maybe look a little better or whatnot. And then number three, mentally. When I don't eat any junk food, like sugar is one example, it's very addictive. My mental clarity is off the charts. So that's one of the reasons why you should definitely stick with healthy foods. Nothing processed. I mean, occasionally, yeah, go and have ice cream, that's fine. But if you need to have 1 or 2 cheat meal days every week, something is wrong, in my opinion. But it's all about 80%, I think. If 80 or 90% of your diet is spot on, you can have your occasional dessert here and there. It's not going to do any damage, so to say. But as long as you make sure that your basic diet, the structure, is there, you get enough protein, and your carbs are from good sources, and then you have good quality fats. That's it, and nothing processed. And ask yourself, the best rule of thumb, in my opinion, is this: look at the food. I mean, the type of food you're eating, or that, whatever. I'll give you an example: carrots or bananas. So look at the way they come from a tree or from the ground, and look at them the way you eat them, meaning when they're on your plate. How big is the difference? The carrots, the way they are, the potatoes, the bananas, the apples, eggs, yeah, you just boil them or fry them basically. Same stuff. You don't find yogurt, you don't find ice cream, you don't find chocolate anywhere in the nature, in the ground. They don't grow on trees, they are processed. So if you have no idea what to put in your mouth, what to eat, this is probably the only thing you have to know. So the less the food changes its form and shape and whatever, the better off you are, right? I don't know how to express that, but you got my point. But definitely, food has a huge impact on your mood, and as a result, on your motivation. Plus, then the other thing is that if you, like, let's say, and that's one of the reasons why to my clients, I always tell them that, look, let's ramp up your physical activity, because your physical activity, the way you look, the way you feel, what kind of shape you are in, has a direct correlation with your self-confidence. If you look better, you fit into those jeans, or you lose a little weight, or you get a little stronger, or whatever your goal is. I mean, I guarantee you, it's directly linked to your self-confidence. And then you can use that self-confidence maybe in applying for a job, asking for a promotion or raise, or maybe even have a better conversation with your spouse or partner, or if you're single, maybe attract better talent. I don't know. But you definitely display an image of yourself that says that you take care of yourself, you get stuff done. And people gravitate towards that, I think. So that's how I look at it. I think it's just very important. And the other thing is that, I mean, if you don't care about, uh, how you look, so to say, if visual things are not your thing, meaning if you're not into bodybuilding, or you don't have to be, but, or even if you don't want to lose weight, you just want to look so-called like an average guy, nothing wrong with that. Then, if you like life, if you love life, if you just want to live forever, so to say, or just have plenty of those experiences that we talked about, then that alone should be a big enough reason for you to eat clean, because, the healthier you eat, the longer you live, right? Think about it. So again, I mean, are you going to regret it if you just eat bacon and donuts every day? When you're 90 or 100, do you think you're going to regret it? If you just ate donuts every day, do you think you're going to regret it when you're 90? Ask yourself that. And if the answer is yes, regret is the thing that scares me the most. I'm literally scared shitless when it comes to regret. That's the only thing. I mean, every parent is I think their biggest fear is that something happens to their kids. I'm the same way. But beyond that, my only fear, honestly, is I'm not afraid of losing face or humiliating myself or losing money. I lost plenty of money. I made plenty of money. It doesn't really matter. Of course, I don't like that, but at the end of the day, it doesn't matter. I know I won't regret it. But I know myself so well, this is where self-awareness comes into play, that if I don't do everything in my power to live forever, so to say, which is not possible, but still, then I'm going to regret it. If I eat bacon every day and donuts every day, or whatever, I mean, bacon isn't necessarily bad, but there's too much fat. But let's say donuts is super processed. So if I ate donuts every day, I know for a fact that if I asked myself that, was this the best you could do? I was like, fuck, I mailed it in. I could not handle that. I know. I mean, that would be my biggest nightmare. I mean, we all have our nightmares, but the better you know yourself, the better you can have that conversation with your 90-year-old version of you. It's like, I think the easier it is for you to make a change and motivate yourself to do things, the hard things, the things that really require a lot of courage. That's how I look at it. So that was about playing it safe and collecting epic stories. Okay, another one. So June 16, 2014, it was a big day for me. I mean, if I look at these journal entries, don't fold like a cheap chair. Stick to your principles and have conviction. Stop wasting energy convincing others how things should be. Instead, focus all your energy on having unwavering conviction in your principles. You will never regret going all in on your beliefs. Why do so many people try to convince you to do this or that? Because they are insecure and they want to see you live your life the way they do. You know what I mean? Many people spend so much time convincing others. If you think about politics, what is it? It's all about convincing. So 2, 3, 4 parties, they have this TV debate or whatever. They all argue how my way is better than yours. And your way sucks. And my way of doing this is the only way. That's the exact same thing. All they do is try to convince everybody to vote for them or do things their way. And they have zero capability or ability to see that you can make it the finish line in so many different ways. So why don't we just have conviction in our own way, saying that, okay, well, I think this works. You can do whatever you want, but I mean, there's no solution. There's only trade-offs. There's only compromises. You get this, you have to give up on that. The more I think about this is the reason why I don't watch any news anymore, political debates. Because it's just all about convincing. Fear, that clickbait stuff, and then just people try to convince you to do things their way. I'm the first person to say that, use if useful. Whatever I lecture here. It's just like my view. I mean, you should probably block 90% what I say and say that, this guy is just, sometimes he's right, sometimes he's not, and I like just filter the stuff that I think applies to me. But the only thing I can say is that this stuff has worked for me. I wouldn't say any. I would just be quiet. I'm not gonna try to. I'm not convincing anybody. I just have conviction in my way. That's the way I would put it. But it doesn't mean that it's the best way for you. If you don't like lifting weights, that's fine. I'm not trying to convince you to do it, even though I know that it's one of the most important things for you to do to make sure that you live a long life. Because the older you get, the more lower body strength and muscle mass you need. Because if you fall once and you break your hip or you break your bone, you don't get out of that hospital bed if you don't have a basic level of strength. That's how I look at it. But again, it's like if you want to play tennis or badminton or go bowling, go do it. Find something that you can do 5 times a week and you never stop. You start and you never stop. That's much more important than doing something that's not your thing. Okay, any other questions? Thanks for these, by the way, so far. I appreciate it. I like this. I enjoy this way I do it. I get so much out of this. And I have 6 people online. This is probably better than what I usually have. And 4 people have even liked, and somebody has even given me some donations. So this is just a perfect Sunday. If anybody gets anything out of this, I'm just happy. I've reached my goal. Just just charge my laptop a little bit. Yeah, I was looking at my 30-day content calendar a little earlier when there were not too many people online. But I can just, if there's no questions, let me just jump into this real quick. So what I have is that I have a guy who does my social media stuff. This is my 30-day plan. You won't be able to see details. That's fine. But this is my Bible now. So I just stick with this. And what I do right now is that I have 2 long YouTube videos every week that I publish. And other than that, there's a short every day, and then there's Instagram carousel posts and LinkedIn posts. But this is, I don't know why I didn't put together a very structured calendar before, even though I talk about it myself a lot. But like I said in the beginning, this has really, really helped me a lot to structure my week, to understand that I need to record every Wednesday and every Saturday at the very latest, because I publish the videos, the long videos, on Thursdays and Sundays. So today is going to be, by the way, there's going to be a video still today. It's not out there yet. Let me actually let me just ask real quick from my my content guy as far as when he's able to get it ready. I don't upload those anymore. What I used to do in the past was that I had a guy who just edited the long videos for me, and then I just uploaded it. I just made the final tweaks, and I also created the shorts, which is probably the reason why they weren't that good. And now I hired the same person to look at my overall plan and also do all of the editing. So it cost me money, of course, but it has been a very, I think, important decision for me, because this has given me a chance to focus on just thinking about the content more and the recording and getting better and see, think what is that I'm going to say, what adds value and what doesn't add value. Because I've made this mistake so many times with my previous companies in the past that I've tried to do too many things myself. And I'm like, what the heck? Who am I to tell other people to learn from their lessons if I can't do it myself? So that's why I did it. Far from perfect. What else is going on? I have 6 people online. Any questions? Yeah, so, and while you might be working on your questions, so I can tell you what I did today. So I went to the gym this morning. Then after that, I have this property that I'm in the process of flipping. It's a long story. Some of you might have heard this. It's something I'm getting that rezoned with the city. The application was approved, but then my neighbor complained. And there's this appeals process. It's like so freaking easy. It doesn't cost anything. It's like I don't know. It's just way too easy for people to just complain. But anyhow, and now we went to the next level of whatever appeals. I don't know what it's even called, but it's some sort of a. I won't go and present the case there. It's all done behind closed doors. So these guys look at it. So the city council approved my application, and then the neighbor, since it was one kind of an application, it's not, if it's just a regular building permit, there would, I mean, neighbor complaints really don't play a role unless it's like against the code or what the zoning plan calls for as far as what kind of structure. Because if you look at zoning, what that means is that you have your area, and it's like typically, you know, what the cities do is that they restrict what you can build, how much you can build, and so forth. So as long as you stick with those requirements, neighbor complaints really don't play a role. But since my application was a little, I would say, more complicated, deeper, it had certain elements that required the city to give me a special permit, so to say. So therefore, the neighbor's complaint had played a bigger role. Let's put it this way. So now, when did I get the building the rezoning approved? Maybe half a year ago, more than that, probably half a year ago. So now they told me that actually on Friday when I called the court, they have like this clerk that picked up, and they said that they don't know the exact timeline, but probably within the next couple of months, it should be handled. And then the interesting thing is that, okay, what if it comes back supporting my case again, which I fully expect to happen? Then the neighbor still, this is ridiculous, think about it. Then they have a chance to still complain. And I don't know, then there's like one more level of, I don't know, appeals court system or whatever it's called, that could handle this, or like maybe see the case, try the case, or hear them. And I don't know if it automatically can go there, but what I've heard is that then it takes freaking forever. So then I'm like, okay, what do I do with the property? I bought it for $330, and with this rezoning permit that I got, basically what I was able to do is that I was able to increase the number of buildable square feet on that lot as far as what you can put there. So now it's much more appealing for somebody to buy. It's a waterfront property, a lot, so you can tear down the existing buildings with the exception of one, which you can turn into like just a guest house, and then you can build a large house there overlooking the water. It's very nice. So I'm in my books that 330 purchase with literally zero repairs, zero money put in, with the exception of some architecture money, maybe like 5 to 10K, it's worth maybe 550. So I'm looking at decent upside, but again, I don't know if the process is going to just drag on forever. So then I'm forced to face a question about, okay, so am I just going to hold on to this property and look at carrying costs and all that, opportunity cost? Or what do I do? Do I just like put it back on the market and maybe sell it for 370 and just like literally not make any money, well, maybe a little bit, but just like not see the upside? Welcome to the world of business, real estate investing. So that's the way it goes. So we'll see. It's going to be interesting. But, and again, I was trying to have my last live from there, but since my 5G or my YouTube application or whatever has been acting out, so I wasn't able to do it. So that's something I need to figure out going forward as well. What else? So let's look at the I don't know, here's a good one. Okay, this is actually from, this is from what day? Okay, so this is from, I don't know how I fast forwarded 8 days, but this is from June 23rd last year. Okay, hear this out. This is from Roger Federer. Perfection, this is a speech that he had. Maybe some of you have heard this, but I wrote this down because I think it was just mind-blowing, and I just wanted to make sure that I can memorize this. So, perfection is impossible. In the 1,526 singles matches, So Roger Federer is a tennis player, right? So he played 1,526 matches, okay? So perfection is impossible. In the 1,526 singles matches I played in my career, I won almost 80% of those matches, okay? Now, I have a question for you. What do you think? What percentage of points do you think I won in those matches? So if he won 80% of the matches, what's the percentage of the points he won in those matches? And the answer is only 54%. Think about it. In other words, even top-ranked tennis players win barely more than half of the points they play. When you lose every second point on average, you learn not to dwell on every shot. You teach yourself to think, okay, I double faulted, it's only a point. Okay, I came to the net, then I got passed again, it's only a point. Even a great shot, an overhead backhand smash that ends up on ESPN's top 10 playlist, that too is just a point. And here's why I'm telling you this. When you are playing a point, it has to be the most important thing in the world, and it is. But when it's behind you, it's behind you. This mindset is really crucial because it frees you to fully commit to the next point and the next point after that with intensity, clarity, and focus. You want to become a master at overcoming hard moments. That is, to me, the sign of a champion. The best in the world are not the best because they win every point. It's because they lose again and again and have learned how to deal with it. You accept it. Cry it out if you need to and force a smile. I mean, that's just huge. Think about it. Roger Federer is saying. So think about it. He won 80% of the matches. He played 1,500 singles matches, and 80% of those he won. But if you look at the points inside the matches, he only won 54%. So a little over half. So the best of the best. Think about it. So the best of the best, he wins a little over half of the points. So his ability to put those mistakes behind him and just like move forward, just focus on every point at a time, and then fully accept that you just have to get comfortable with the uncomfortable. Life is full of losing. If you ask somebody who doesn't play tennis, who doesn't know the numbers, he probably would have guessed, if when I told you that he won 80% of the matches, he probably would have said that maybe he won 90% or 80% or 75% of the points. I think people would be shocked knowing that he only won 54% of the points. We all lose all the time. And I think the conclusion I drew out of this is that life overall is just a series of micro-level losses with an occasional big win. So like in his case, every other. Like you win, you lose. You win, you lose. Then you win, win, and lose. Win, lose, win, lose. And the results are exceptional. He's in the Tennis Hall of Fame, if it even exists, I don't know. They're one of the best, arguably the best tennis player, together with Nadal, you know, or whoever else. There are others, but if you look at I think the Grand Slam titles he has, I don't know the numbers, but he's up there, right? 54%. Crazy. Just nuts. And we worry about, you know, not always winning here at the grassroots level. That's just crazy. Okay, another one still today from Jerry Seinfeld. People are always trying to add more stuff to life. Reduce it to simpler, pure moments. If you think about it, this is the analogy I always use. That what happens? Let's say I have 10 sweaters in my closet, and I'm like, okay, 4 of them are really worn out, and I don't like the colors, and you know they're out of fashion. I need new ones. What should you do? Should you go to the store and buy 4 new ones and keep the old ones, or should you actually reduce your total count first, the 10 you have in the closet, get rid of maybe 5 or 6, and buy 3 more, so that your total number goes from 10 to 8. It's more simple. You introduce simplicity. Maybe you find the good ones out of those 10 or new 8 easier. You know what I mean? But usually what people do is that they just go and buy new ones. And then the total number goes from 10 to 14. What happens when you have 14 sweaters? You always have, you know, maybe 20% of those are your favorites. What happens when you have that clutter? and that complexity, you don't find the good ones either. That's life. It's like we add by default. Delete is always the first option. Delete is always the first decision. What do I say no to? What do I get rid of? Because that's so much harder than adding. Which takes me to my next point. Ask yourself what feels hard and what is that you're avoiding? And the answer is usually there. As far as closet and clothing goes, getting rid of stuff is hard. Knowing what to say no to, because you can't say yes to everything, because then you divide your attention. Your eyes can't capture 14, understand the complexity of 14 colors, 14 styles. You need to get rid of it, get rid of at least half of them maybe, and have only 6 that you really like. And life is a lot easier, more simple, and maybe more productive. What do you think about it? Does it make sense? I'll start, my quad started cramping. I trained legs today and it's, oh my God. Yeah. Any other questions today? Thank you for today, by the way. I appreciate it. It's been 66 minutes now. So I don't know, what I probably will do in the future is that I'll probably schedule these, like, I don't know, maybe once every 2 days or so, every other day, and change it up, you know, morning and then evening and whatnot. So I'll think about it. I'll put something together. So instead of maybe doing like ad hoc, maybe I'll just announce it always beforehand and then schedule it and then do it that way. I think that would make a lot of sense. What do you think? Maybe. I'll think about it. I think I'm going to do that. It was a good turnout today, so appreciate all the help with the questions. It helps me actually. I like talking. This helps me with my content delivery. It helps me in simplifying my message, even though it might not be always that simple. So, and then this helps me, so hopefully I can help you too with any of the answers. So. But anyhow, if there's no other questions, then I'll probably call it a day. And I'll talk to you, today's Sunday, so tomorrow or Tuesday, I don't know yet. I'll let you know. I'll announce it. Again, thanks a lot for the questions. They were really good. Appreciate the contributions, the donations, everything. Have a great week, everyone. Yes, absolutely. And enjoy the rest of your weekend and have a productive week. Go kill it. Actions over feelings. Okay, thanks a lot.